Welcome back to all my fellow delvers out there. I know, I've been away for a while, had some life stuff come up, and just had to get it taken care of. But I'm back, and better than ever because of the latest updates to leveling and experience gains in World of Warcraft Midnight with the latest patch. I know I'm a little bit late, but I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't just dive into it and show you guys how this is shaken out for leveling your alts. So I'm just going to kind of go through the previous methods I talked about in my other leveling video and see how things have changed so we can discover what the new best ways to level are, what the changes are, and some of them are pretty significant. If you look here, these Delver's Call quests used to give you about 80,000 experience, and now we're looking at 152, so this is huge. And I know that's one of the smaller increases. So without further ado, let's look into it. And I'm going to start off with prey quests. All right, so let's look here. Completing prey quests now looks like it awards about 115,000, up from 20,000. I think it was maybe 21,000. So that's about 5 times more, which is a little bit nutty. But let's really see what this shakes out to in experience per hour. All right, so we definitely make progress on the prey hunt a bit faster now. All right, so we're at about 180 right before we kill him and complete the quest. 808. That's pretty dang good. Now we got to do this for a little while so we can make sure what we can maintain. Whew, that was a little close. All for one trap. Alright, before starting the second prey boss, we're maintaining at about 640.
You're so confident in your answer, but you're completely off.
Which is still really good compared to how it used to be. Alright, there's 1 million. That's pretty tasty. Now something to keep in mind as well is that this is rested but not war mode. So I do have more experience when killing things, but I'm not getting an extra bonus on top of everything else. Wow, that was fast. I did 2 traps, the initial prey quest, and got ambushed once and did one of those, one of the little remnants of anguish mobs. I don't know what to call them. I forget now. And that's all it took to max out my prey meter. So finishing this next prey quest with about 1 million per hour, which is a beautiful thing, folks. The somewhat mind-numbing prey grind could be worth it. We'll just have to see how it compares to everything else. All right, there's 1.4. That is just pretty solid. All right, I'll do this one and then we'll call it good, kind of average it out. Yeah, it's gonna be a full level and some change in about, just under half an hour, I think. Yeah, time played this session is 20 minutes. If you do the math real quick, that's pretty good when compared to previous iterations of prey experience. That's pretty exciting. I want to like prey. I really do. I do think it's a good idea. Yeah, it's about as enthusiastic as I'm gonna get about it. Stop and knock out one of these, because I think they get pretty decent progress as far as I could tell from last time. Okay, we're still sitting at just about 1 million experience an hour. Okay, that's after all 4 prays. We're sitting at 1.2 million experience an hour. Compared to our last attempt, which was about 400,000, 3 times is pretty good. Honestly, makes prey feel a little more interesting. Alright, next up I want to look at delves. Of course I do. It's my favorite. Now if you remember, I showed that the Delver's Call quests about doubled in experience they're giving. So not as big of an increase as the prey quest per se, but could still yield pretty nice results. Okay, after just one without turning anything in, we're at 600, so that's pretty good. Okay, 2 down, we're still sitting at about 600, so that's kind of the grinding speed. I guess I'm just going to keep running and keep pulling. Devoured Demon Hunter seems kind of unkillable, at least in these leveling delves, so I guess I'll find out the hard way if I'm not. It's the worst that could happen. Turns out the worst that could happen is I could just annihilate everything and have a really good time doing it. That's actually the worst that happened. Yeah, finish out the rest of these Delver's Call quests and then we'll see where we're at. See how much of a level, or I mean multiple levels, that we get out of turning these in. So I'll be back with you in a bit.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Okay, well, quite a few disconnects and a day later. Here we are. I think I have everything completed partway through. I realized that I think I did the Dark Way quest earlier on this character, so this won't be a complete world tour of first time delve quests, but I've got those. Herndar taken care of. Voidstorm got those two. Zelamon got those two. And then I normally would have 4 here, but I just have 2 right now.
You're not very good at math.
Or sorry, 3. I can count. My little add-on up here is telling me I have 270% of a level completed with the quests that I have to turn in, so this should be pretty good. I'm level 85 right now, just hit level 85 not too long ago. Now everybody's favorite part of the Delve World Tour is forgetting where to turn them in and then finding the right spot. Let's do the damn thing. So we're sitting at about 500k an hour just from doing the delves, just from killing stuff and not really turning anything in. So let's see where we get to.
What have you learned lately? Have you anything new to present?
Well, that was fun. More please.
Everything be of the finest quality, Amani quality.
Okay, sitting at 2 million. A couple of notes. I do have war mode activated for turn-ins. I am not following the strict guideline of waiting until absolutely highest level to turn them in. Still got 4 turn-ins left and we're sitting at 2 million an hour. I mean, we all knew the Delve World Tour was one of the better methods of getting experience.
Words attracts many threats. See that they do not speak.
Okay, this should be our last 2 turn-ins, I think, right here. Oh man, like right at the end of level 87. So, I mean, that's more or less 3 levels. So maybe the new guideline is start turning them in once you hit level 87, like right away, or maybe late level 86, just so you don't overcap on experience. But wow, 3 million an hour. Well, that's going to be hard to beat. I know it's just a one-time thing, like you can't just repeat those, but knocking out 3 levels in a basically no time feels pretty good. The Delve World Tour was really good at launch, and it continues to be probably the best way to level quickly, but we'll see what everything else has to offer. Okay, time to test out story questing again.
I am so excited! I think I'm gonna explode!
I'm gonna keep this to just Eversong because that seems to be the most effective route. Not that we're going for most effective versus anything else, but I do like Eversong as a zone too, so happy to try it out. So not looking like they increased the quest experience for the story quests so far. I mean, I've only done the first two. If that's the case, this is going to be pretty low on the list. So far, still just the same amount of experience as before through the story quest. I can already see what's going to happen. I'm not going to have the patience to see this all the way through and find that it is actually better, and then I'm going to get lambasted in the comments. But you know what? I'm okay with that. Okay, after a few quests, we're still sitting at about 850, which is a little higher than I remember it. I think it was more like 600. Been going for about 20 minutes. I'm at about 740. That's more like what I expected, with not many changes. Keep going for a bit, see where we end up, but somewhere between 700 and 800 feels more realistic. Okay, I'm going to get to the step where I turn it in Windrunner Village, and then we'll see where we're at. It's about half an hour.
Calm for now. But if the Twilight's blade had a map of the area.
Okay, so we're at 870. I mean, that's quite good for not many changes to the experience. I was getting about 14,000 a quest, which, if memory serves, is kind of the same as what it used to be. Maybe I'm just getting faster at this questing route, but maybe there's some small buffs in there. I'm also rested, so that helps. Getting double experience for kills, but a lot of that was straight quest turn-ins. Story quest looking pretty good, 850. It's nowhere near Prey, which is funny, because Prey was garbage previously, if you'll remember. But yeah, let's look into more. Let's see what else we got. Last to try out is, I think I'm going to combine open world with the, what the hell they're called? The Void Assaults, seeing as how they're kind of part of the open world experience now. Also worth noting, this weekly quest you get has had its experience buffed quite a bit. Still not quite as much as finishing a delve, I don't think. Let's see. First completion of a delve is 147, and this character is level 80. No war mode, but the 25% bonus. 110 for the weekly quest. But if you're going to be out doing stuff anyway, make sure to grab this. That's an extra quarter of a level for free, pretty much, if you're already doing all these things. So I'm really curious to see if they did anything to the... Why can't I ever remember what they're called? Void Assaults? Void Incursion. Void Strike. There's so many words, man. Words are hard. Yeah, we're going to go check this out. They were giving about as much as a quest, if I remember right, like 12 to 14,000, something like that. And as we just saw, didn't really look like the story quest changed all that much, but I was able to pull higher experience per hour. Maybe, like I said, maybe I'm just getting faster at it, but it does seem like I was leveling up a bit faster doing story quests than I was before. It's gonna be, oh, there are people here. Okay, good. $29,000 seems like a lot more. I'll make sure that's what happened. Yeah, it is 29,000. And the mobs that, the main mobs at the end of these things seem to do about 5,000 a piece. So if there's a few of them, it's a nice addition. Currently it's 720 after 2 of them. It's pretty good. In comparison, it is, I do need to note, I think it's our lowest method right now. Alright, 975 after 3. I think I've done 3 of them. How long is that? 15 minutes? Probably not sustainable over the course of a few hours, but there's another one that we're still sitting just above 950. Let's do just a couple of world quests to kind of weave in some open world stuff. A couple of world quests done. We're down to about 870. So we were cruising pretty good, doing void strikes, and then when I worked other world content into the rotation, it dropped down a little bit. That puts it about on par with the story quest. So It's really kind of up to you if you want to just wander around and do events that are available to you, or if you want to follow the story. I assume now we're all on double digits of alts. Maybe that's just me. So I like a little something different as it can be, doing open world content versus the story quest a bunch of times over and over again. But that's why I'm testing out all these different ways of leveling up, so you can keep it fresh with each character. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
So things have kind of shifted around as far as leveling methods go. Prey is actually very good now at just about 1 million experience an hour, maybe a little more. Obviously, the Delver's World Tour is still worth doing on every alt. It's 3 million experience an hour. Pretty unbeatable. Even though it is just a one time, it's worth about 3 levels. Open world and story quests are better than they were, but now near the bottom of the barrel. So if you're tired of doing the story, well then, good news, you've got all sorts of reasons to not do it. You can go chase prey targets instead. I am not going to die to that again. Wow, that's nice. Let's just take a second. That's beautiful. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for being patient with me. Hopefully that's the longest hiatus between videos that I'll have. I'm happy to be back. Happy that leveling is way more efficient than it was. And I'm very excited to keep sharing my findings with you guys. Now I'm going to go convince myself that I think Prey is super fun, and I will see you in the next video.